Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard the Adiri Astrov for another Honkai Impact stream. Hello, Tommy. Hello, Hakanashi. I'm glad you can make it today. So today we will be playing the new story chapter that was just added. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I think it's about some stuff that we haven't seen in a while, so hopefully it will be good for those of you who are not familiar with this game story, which is all of you, because I don't know anybody else who plays this game other than Maxim. But yeah, without any further ado, actually with a little bit of further ado, because I had to actually set the game up. Oh no. Wait a minute. I think I have to restart OBS. Sorry. Okay. And we're back. I forgot that Honkai is like Genshin and requires OBS be in administrator mode before you can stream it, or game capture it. Okay. So, this is Alicia, who is the new character that is on my thumbnail. We will be playing the new story chapter soon, but first we're gonna do Memorial Arena. Just to get this out of the way. This is also what normal Honkai gameplay is like, because this is pretty much this is like 50% of what I do on a day-to-day basis outside of events and new story chapters. So this is, again, just like what the average day in Honkai is like. Let me think. Put that to in front. Honkai is my main game. My time is evenly divided between Honkai, Genshin, and Azure Lane, I would say. I don't think I have a main game. I wouldn't want to give any of those three up if I had to choose between them. If I really had to, I would probably go for Azure Lane first. But I don't see that happening, because Azure Lane doesn't require much in the way of like actual time commitment. Actually, so the way Memorial Arena works is that there are 3 bosses. You cannot reuse the same equipment or character between bosses, which is where the hard part comes in. So you have to carefully divide up and plan out your teams between the bosses. I'm just thinking, what would be the best approach to bring for this?
保持优雅。
need a lot of... It's a gacha game, like Genshin, so of course it encourages you to have lots of characters and build them all very well. I'm actually not sure between her and Fischl, which one is the better support for this boss. You can try this. Well, mostly I was just deciding what to actually do. So the Benares is the name of this dragon. Its special gimmick is that it takes reduced physical damage, and if you use elemental damage against it, it will switch into one of 3 forms, depending on whatever dealt the most damage, whatever damage type it received the most in its first phase. It will switch into that form, making it resistant to that damage type. So you have to bring 2 different elemental damage deals to Benares, which makes building teams against it a little difficult. Oh, and by the way, there are 5, or actually, now there are 6. But before, there used to be 5 levels. We just did the first 3. The first 4 really aren't consequential. It's only the last one that actually matters. That went completely the wrong direction. Or rather, completely different direction from the one I was expecting. Oh yeah, Hatanashi, you quite like dragons, don't you? What do you think of this dragon's design? Wow, I have no way to predict where this guy is going to land. That's actually what the troublesome. That didn't go very well. But it's only the 4th stage, so it doesn't actually matter. The 5th one's going to be a difficult one. And here I might have to start changing up my team, because I'm not sure this will actually work for this one. Specifically, I think I might be doing too little ice damage to actually force it into the ice form, thereby allowing my lightning main DPS to have full effect here. Yeah, that's definitely not gonna happen. Okay, so I need to bring someone else. Serrated wings, not quite your type unless on wyverns, or am I doing a... right now I'm doing Memorial Arena, which is a permanent game mode. I wonder, maybe I can just try and brute force this with just pure lightning damage.
电闪雷鸣之刻，少侠，时间到了，新的风抓住你了，来，这里吧，呀，现身吧，同志。
I don't think this is gonna work. But worth a shot. It might actually.
时间到了，跟得上我们，抓住你了，来，这里吧，圣才之雷。
巨月换线。
Okay. This is actually gonna work. I'm kind of surprised. You don't like the cyber? It's not really a cyber aesthetic. So the
面对自己的命运，
story, well, the story explanation here is that, oh wow, I actually just did brute force that with pure lightning damage, and wow. Huh. Okay. I'm kind of surprised I did that well. Okay. We'll take it as we go. So what's it? Yeah. So it's not really a cyber aesthetic. So the Honkai beasts in this game all have shells. And Benares is no exception. It's all like they're silicon-based shells. And that's the story explanation. But, okay. Getting into the new story chapter. Looks like we have 8 stages. I have no idea what we're going in for today. Okay, so here's the thing, Tommy. Every story chapter, after a certain point, every story chapter has a completely unique design. Like, so we go this one. Like, this is the basic, what most of them look like, more or less. Yeah. So this is what most story menus look like. But at a certain point, and I forget exactly where. Oh, yeah. Maybe it was here. But chapter 11, yeah. After chapter 11, every single story chapter gets this unique menu. And it's like, they completely changed the way they did story chapters. And they're basically all events in their own right now. Yeah. All of these are completely get in their own menus, their own designs. It's pretty crazy how much effort they put into this. Yeah. Here is the new one. So it looks like this is following a Durandal, which is interesting because we've never had a story chapter where she's the main character before. She's been the main character of events before, but never a... This is the first time she's ever been a main story event, so I'm hoping this will be good opportunity for you guys who know nothing about the story to join in. Because this is actually starting a completely new plot thread.
我准备好了。
It birthed all creation. This much you should understand. I am the origin of all things, and I am the destroyer of all things. 6 a.m. The girl finished her warm-up and turned off her personal fitness training device. The device had been created nearly half a century prior, originally designed for astronauts. It included an air pressurization system that could simulate a low-gravity environment. Some years later, a Valkyrie at HQ pulled this aging but unusually durable device out of storage and began to use it in morning exercises. That Valkyrie's name was Ragnar Lodbrok. She was one of the reasons the girl chose to become a Valkyrie.
今天的身体状态还不错，那么就趁热打铁，接一套战术训练吧。
热身开始，请跟随系统提示完成相应的战术动作。
Oh. It's a tutorial. I guess because they can't assume that everybody owns this character. Everyone knows how to play this character. I own this character, so I already know how to play her, but I guess we had to add this tutorial for the benefit of those who don't.
请自由发挥，以击破敌人。
Yeah, so this character is honestly very easy to play. Like, that tutorial wasn't really necessary. Actually, well, tutorial probably was necessary because even though she's very easy to play, she's a bit gimmicky. Oh. So basically, all this character does is ult. Like, her basic attacks don't matter at all. All she does is ult over and over again.
少女熟练地进入须弥芥子的幻境，以冥想训
Oh,
练作为
now
成
we
员
have a
的手势。
narrator.
而他今天冥想的伙伴，也依然是神之剑黑渊白花。3年之前，少女从主教手中得到了这柄象征着最强
Yeah, so actually, I think this particular character is literally the most boring in the game. Wait a second. Yeah, Tommy.
例如这位主教，让他先后打破纪录，成为有史以来最年轻的 A 级和 S 级女武神。不知不觉间，她似乎已经成为主教之下，在战场上最被女武神们所信赖的2号人物。然而，即便如此，在少女的内心深处，却总有一丝挥之不去的违和感。
So, the character, I meant the character in game, that particular battlesuit I was playing in the game is very boring to play. The character herself is alright. Honestly, actually the character is also kind of boring. But, maybe that'll change my tune, because she hasn't gotten much characterization up until now, unless you look into the extra materials, the comics. She's gotten very little attention in the actual game proper, from a story perspective, so this is the very first story chapter devoted to her, so maybe that'll change.
与少女的人生有关。事实上，她很清楚，所有的女武神在入伍的那一刻，就已经决定了今后的人生大致是什么样子。她们将众人的命运扛在肩上，为世界上的一切美好而努力战斗，挥洒热血，在所不辞。
Okay, so here's the thing about this. Like, it sounds like she's a hero of justice, right? Fighting for all that is good. The problem is the organization she works for, their leader, her boss, is an evil douchebag. So it's a little grayer than that.
少女心怀坦然，
that.
甚至或许可以说，她喜欢这种在危险场合兑现自身能力的感觉。只不过随着年龄的增长，她也越发认识到一件无奈的事情。
Yeah, like I said, Mihoyo is very big on their gray on gray morality. So, both of all three of the main organization in this game they have their good side and their dark sides. Some of them have more dark sides than others. And in this case, it's really hard to say there's anything redeemable about Otto. Like, Durando herself, this girl, is definitely a good person. She just works for an irredeemably evil person. Hello, Troyes. Welcome aboard.
追根溯源，这一切的一切，都肇始于那位主教的计划与命令。他仿佛就像是摩诃婆罗多里的黑天，用一双时隐时现的手，不断塑造着阿周娜的戏剧人生。少女并不确定自己喜欢那样的命运。尽管阿周娜是人尽皆知的印度英雄，尽管记忆中至今为止的人生，也并未让她感到不满。
I know Kokomi is here. In fact, I rolled her last night.
比安卡，我回来了。
A familiar yet unexpected voice shattered the silence of her meditation.
主教。
Oh. That is a new outfit that I have not seen before.
你看起来
It looks like a recolor of her basic battle suit. What the heck? Who the heck is this? This does not look like Otto. You got a new model. What the heck?
既不惊讶于我的出现，也不惊讶于我忽然叫起了你的本名。
He looks like a totally different person. What the heck? Who is this? I've never seen this guy before.
这些本来就是细枝末节的事情吧。有话直说吧，主教，是不是有什么新任务了？这段时间发生的事
Is that Star Wars Star Destroyer? No. This is like a floating
上你还是一个失踪人口。
sky base.
这种有话直说的口气，倒让我回忆起了那个还没有成为幽兰戴尔的比安卡。人们都说女大18变，不过你还真是，让别人乍一看都找不到小时候的影子了。
内在没变不就足够了吗？话少话多也好，是不是扑克脸也好，这些又不影响什么要紧的东西。
道理上是这样了，不过也有句俗话叫“佛靠金装，人靠衣装”。对于接下来的那份工作，
You're in the First
你或许
Order?
确实应该像今天换的这身
I would not join the First Order.
换下新境
Not just because they're evil, but also because they're incredibly incompetent.
因为你终于有机会去完成幽兰戴尔这个名字所代表着的重大使命了。好好准备一下吧，半个小时之后来帮助我进行把世界炮连入虚数之树的探索实验。
Oh,
主教
I
因为市场的笑了
remember
笑，
kind of that.
随后
It's been a very long time since that
那
experiment
是这
has
位生
been
性
brought
自
up.
由的男子最喜欢的表达方式，在不动声色中突然抛出惊天动地的信息。少女原本以为自己从12岁起承担的那份命运，或许会伴随
Wasn't
自
there
己
an
一生
event for
的
this
世
game
界。
that got canned because of fandom outrage? Not that I know of. There was a dance video that got canned because the Chinese fan base got very angry. But that wasn't an event. That was just like
让
a
量子
dance
在
video
海中
that
世
got
界
taken
炮
down
为
from
虚数之
YouTube.
数绝
It's still available, of course, because people re-uploaded it.
世界在虚数之处生发、繁荣、凋零，最后沉入量子之海消亡，这才是一般的自然规律。3年前，事情有了初步的转机。主教把自己关于虚数之术的研究成果告知了少女与她的副官。根据主教的说法，少女们的私人目标
Wait, what did they
可以
say?
包含在她的终极计划之内解决。
3 years ago.
随后
Huh?
，2年前，在一个实力
2
和
years
境
ago
颇为
from
相
that
的
event?
少女协助主教夺得了第2神之剑，又在相关的实验中遭遇了前文明横杀计划的执行者。
Oh, wait.
而主
Oh.
教的终极计划也从此驶上了快车道。
Oh, okay, I get it.
但无论如何，
This is actually referencing a comic
少女绝
that
不
was
可能
released
设
a long
想
time ago.
事情的发展会像今天这样迅速、突然。量子之海的那次旅行，
So
对少女而
that
言如在昨日。
okay, so that comic took place 2 years before this. Oh yeah, Honkai has a lot of lore. There's a lot of extra material in comics. You have 2 visual novels, actually, but neither have been translated, so I've not been
莎
able
士
to
比
play
亚
them.
船长、米格尔爷爷、吉米弟弟，以及许许多多有趣的人们。薛定谔博士
I never
和
finished
许
that
多前
comic
辈，
because I
他们
like
就流浪在量子之海的河
because
坊。
last time I read it, only like the first few chapters were
还有那柄古灵精
translating
怪的圣剑，
translated.
真正名为幽兰戴尔的武器。只有让那个命途多舛的人造世界炮和虚数之术建立起完整的联系，少女才能从根本上拯救他们所有人。或许也能为
Yeah,
人类
so
在
what
变
I,
幻
from what
面
I
前
recall of this,
探索出一条不曾经历过
basically
的退路。
she entered the Sea of Quanta, which is kind of like quantum space, and entered a bubble universe where she like, but the universe was collapsing, so she like took the universe into her
这
body
些年来，
and
少女
it
始终将
gained
这
its
个一
power.
生耗尽自己一生的目标，默默地藏在心底。
So I think
她完全不曾想
that's
到自己会
as
如此
much
突然
as I
如此
remember.
快速地迎来
But she
这
had
个
like a
关键
very
时刻。
long adventure in the world, and I think she also like got older in there because I believe she's supposed to be like
说的
16
确实没错。
or something, even though she absolutely does not look
此时此
16.
刻，少女的确需要通过变换心情，来迎接这份极其重要的工作。
I forget what her canon age is, but she absolutely does not
幽兰
look
戴
her
尔大人
age,
您已经
which
接
is
过
funny
主教
because
大人
usually anime characters look, especially female ones, look way younger than their stated age.
真的很突然啊！那个人自说自话的失踪，又自说自话的回来，还要立即进行把世界炮连入虚数之术的，这里面真的是没有一件事能让人产生真实感。
不过，
So I think people
这不正是主教大人
speculated
一如
that
既
she
往的行事
aged
作风
several years in the bubble universe, but I don't know if that was ever confirmed.
主教大人一直都在把世界当作棋盘，而包括他自己在内的所有人和事，都是棋局上的棋子。在这个模式之下，只有结果才具备唯一的意义。毕竟，所谓过程的价值，对于主教大人来说，或许在很多很多年前就已经消失了吧。
You thought her forearm was floating in front of her? Which one?
你今天说话的口气，怎么突然变得像莎士比亚船长？不就突然有很多带着哲学意味的说法。
是这样吗？
Oh,
抱歉
okay.
幽兰戴尔大人，任务当前，我似乎不知不觉地紧张起来了。
丽塔，你还真是的，紧张，难道不是很正常的情绪吗？这毕竟事关千千万万个在另一个空间中真实生活着的人类啊。打个比方来说，一座深山的村庄，或许终究无法与繁华的都市相提并论，但它也同样有自己的过去、自己的现在、自己的未来。现在， 改变他衰败宿命的可能性与我们不期而遇，又有谁不会手心冒汗？
那这也正是幽兰戴尔大人突然变得话多起来的原因吧。
Dorinda recalled the way she was several years ago. Back then, she was irritable, rather short in stature, and extremely talkative. That girl seemed to be a completely different person than the Dorinda of today.
我
怎么了，幽兰戴尔大人？
不，没什么，不是什么值得讨论的话题。
The girl started to speak, then hesitated. If it had been several years earlier, she would have openly talked to Rita about how her personality had changed. But that girl was long gone.
比安卡大人，如果这次的任务进展顺利，到时我们请半天假出去兜风如何？
如果不影响工作的话，可以是可以。
那么兜风的地点就预定在离浮空岛不远的那不勒斯吧。
Going for a drive. In Naples, the girl suddenly remembered that on their adventure 5 years earlier, Rita had suggested something similar.
要不要让我带您去深夜的那不勒斯兜兜风呢？
I've never been to Naples. Is
如
Naples
果主角的
fun?
这次实验真的能够帮到世界炮里的人们，
I don't think we have any British people here.
那时候我们就找时
If anyone
间
sees
一
this,
起去维苏威火山的山脚下飙车吧。
please let me know if Naples is fun. Half an hour later, Shixel floating aisles, special purpose lab for the second divine keys, cosmic
很好
juggernaut.
各位都相当准时。
I cannot get over his appearance. He looks like a completely different person. I cannot accept this.
幽兰戴尔、丽塔、长光、琥珀，在我离开的这段时间，看守总部的你们辛苦了。
主教大人过誉了。
我们只是做了自己该做的事情而已。
他们说的没错。
Oh,
奥托先生，
this is new. I wonder if she's gonna be a playable character.
您可以演讲的久一点。第二神之剑的空间动力系统还需要再预热5分钟呢。
Yeah, the monocle.
看来唯一不守时的，反而是一台机械呀。那么我就用这5分钟的时间，帮助各位再梳理一下本次实验的来龙去脉吧。各位应当都非常了解，我们身处的4维时空乍看起来平坦空旷，但在更高的宇宙维度上，却有许多凭借人的感官难以想象的复杂结构。前文明的人类发明了2个形象的词汇来称呼它们：量子之海。 还有虚数之数，量子之海中的万事万物都会随着时间的推移而自然衰变，最终解体在一片混沌之中。虚数之数上的世界虽然不会如此，却多半要经受崩坏这一天灾的考验。
Okay. So they're actually describing the structure of the
本质上
multiverse here.
这是因为时间的概念在这2者的领域中有本质性的差别。不过这并不是我们今天关注的重点。今天的实验旨在验证一项技术，我们要尝试将量子之海中的一个世界炮连接回虚数之数，改变其注定消亡的命运。在充分研究了第2神之剑，又获得了世界蛇技术援助的当下，天命组织必须将这项技术掌握在自己手中。唯其如此，在不远的将来，各位才能将世界的命运。
空间动力系统预热完成，奥托先生，实验随时可以开始。
哎呀，看来现在倒必须长话短说了呢。
Bit hard to read some. Oh. That's true. I guess I am in the way.
总而言
Me and
之，
chat.
我们这次的实验对象是蕴含在幽兰戴尔体内的特殊世界炮。
Do you want me to read everything out loud then? To make a long story short, the subject of our experiment will be a special bubble universe contained within
我们
Durandal's
要从量子
body.
之海出发，
We will
寻找
depart
前
from the
往虚
sea
数
quanta,
空间
seek
的
a
路，
passage leading
并
to
尝试将
imaginary
它
space,
人
and
为
then
基
try
础
to
形式中
artificially
实
link it to the
因此，
imaginary
尤兰戴尔，
tree.
你需要
So,
亲自进
Durandal,
入
you
有第
will
二
need
神
to
之
enter
间
the
创造的
dimensional
高
portal
维空间
generated
入
by the
口。
second divine key yourself.
这次给你配备了
Okay.
升级版的空间深潜
This
返回
time, you'll
装
be
置，
equipped with an upgraded Genius Plus space-time
负责远程支
exploration
援的长
unit.
官可以利用它，
Nagimatsu will use it to maintain communications with you while you are in complex space-time environments.
这次实
Got
验
it.
事关重大。
Due to the great significance of
丽
this
塔，
experiment,
我，
Arita
你们留在
and
这里，
Amber, you will
负
stay
责
here
调
to
度协调
manage
一切
and
事务，而
coordinate
我
operations.
会亲自陪
And
同
I
尤
will
兰戴尔。
accompany Durandal to the portal. Huh?
这还是我
I
们第一
guess this
次
is
在
the
正
first
式
time
场
we'll
合
be
里
officially
见作
working
战，
side
接
by
下来就请
side.
多指教了。
I'll need
女
your
武神
assistance,
比昂卡
Bianca
尤兰戴
Durandal
尔，阿塔吉娜。
Atagina.
散去吧，世界的残影。
Wait, what? Can we actually summon Otto to fight? That is nuts, actually. Like,
没有人能妨碍我的计划。
oh, okay, so he just shoots missiles occasionally. I guess that's his contribution. Like, I guess they don't have animations for him. It's not actually like summonable. Wait, I should try to plot. Next time I summon him, I'm gonna try to pause the game, and see if I can make out what that missile actually looks like. Okay. Okay. Oh,
有趣的地方，
okay.
现实世界的
Ah,
部
he
分
is
信息在
tall.
这里被重新整合，确立了自成一格的架构与规则。人的一生也不过如此吧，在有限的时间中，将自己能接触到的一切消化吸收，最终形成独立的思想与人格。原来这就是身在量子之海的感受。
So this is what it feels like in the Sea of Quanta.
太空中的失重
No
状态
different from
有些
请尽量不要与
being
我太远，
weightless.
主教。
Please try to stay
按照
close to
常
me,
光说
overseer.
法，在量子之
According
海
to
中，
Nagimatsu,
时间和
objects
光速
floating
漂
in
流
the。Sea of Quanta
任
far
何
from
正
the
常世界的
bubble
事物
universe
都
are
会有
at
生命
risk
消
of
失的风险。
decaying into nothingness.
不过嘛，
But because Mr.
考虑
Otto's
到
body
奥
is
托
made
先生
out
身体属于混
of
钢材质，
sodium, the
但
risk
如果
is
真的
very
与外部
low.
世界失去联络，
But
也
if we
确
lose
实不妙。
connection with the outside
毕
world,
竟
we
我已经
do
把
have a
自己的意识
problem.
中枢
After all, I have already transplanted my consciousness into this body.
那不是
Huh? Isn't
没
that?
办法呀，即便是花
Nothing
了
we
我
can do
2年
about
时间来
that.
改进的格尼乌斯
Even though I
派，
spent 2 years improving the Genius Plus, it doesn't support real-time consciousness
内宽
projection.
完全不够啊。
There's just not enough
就是
bandwidth.
这样。
No problem, I won't hold you back
主
in
教你
battle.
说笑了。
You
如果
must
你
be
认真起
joking,
来，
Overseer. You
我也
would
未
beat
必能
me
在1对1的比
in
试
a
中
one-on-one
稳操胜
fight.
券吧。
Wait, what? I did not realize Otto was that strong. That's... Okay.
我倒不觉得自己能堂堂正正打赢过你啊，不如说根本没戏才对。
Haha, I doubt I could defeat you in a fair fight. In fact, it would be no contest.
对此时此刻的奥
As
托
of
阿
this
波卡里
moment,
斯
you
而
are
言，
Otto Apocalypse's most reliable partner in this adventure.
看来我又让你感到好
Ah,
麻
seems
了。
that made you uncomfortable.
就让我们忘记
Well
这些
then,
不重要的
enough
说
chit
辞。
chat. It's time to take the first step of our journey. Let's go. Huh? Can I enter the portal, please? Auto Apocalypse, like Teresa Apocalypse? Yes. He is her grandfather, except not really, because she is a half-human, half-Honkai clone that he made and then adopted as his granddaughter because she was the only one of the clones to, or I guess not really clones, but only one of the experiments to survive. And yeah, so the reason why she's, perpetually lolly is because she is half human, half Honkai. Like, basically, she's a crime against nature. Yeah, Yo-Yo likes their dark backstories. Yeah, and she had to perpetually lolly. Like, she can never grow old. Or, yeah, she doesn't age past, like, elementary schooler. Or middle schooler, maybe. Because, she's only half human. And she had to kill all the other versions of her in, like, the trials of the experiments. Well, not all the... She had to kill a few. Because most of them just died on their own. Oh. Yeah, she was basically forced to fight the other products of the experiments, and in the end, she was the only survivor. And then, after making her go through all that, Otto adopted her as his granddaughter. So, yeah, you start to see why I say Otto is just an irredeemably evil jerkass. When leaping between dimensions, one's consciousness is sometimes affected by dreamlike interference. For the girl, it came in the form of images of gallows, remains of Honkai beasts, and unfamiliar purple flowers. These were certainly not images from her own memories. They might have been residual data in the Sea of Quanta. Or maybe... Looks like we are already close to our destination. This is the Theater of Domination. A space created by the 10th Herrscher not long ago. While the 10th Herrscher is gone, I'm thinking of a way to preserve part of what's here. Will that help us establish a connection with the imaginary tree? Exactly. How much do you know about the 10th Herrscher, the Herrscher of Dominance? I read the research materials provided by Anti-Entropy and World Serpent. That Herrscher is an aggregation of multiple consciousnesses. It can construct unique dimensions in the gaps between space-time. Unlike the Herrscher of Dominance of the previous era. You know enough then. After all, we won't encounter the Herrscher of Dominance, but merely what it left behind. In order to control its minions from this place, the Herrscher made use of the imaginary tree's power to create a link between the two universes. And this resulted in, even though the 10th Herrscher no longer exists, the Theater of Domination is about to sink into the Sea of Quanta. For the moment, it still retains its connection with the imaginary tree, though you quickly assembled everyone to begin the experiment. Yes, time waits for no man. Although it will sink into the Sea of Quanta, the process isn't instantaneous. But before we attempt to intervene in the Honkai persona, we need to have a firm grasp of the technology and resources at our disposal. I understand, but Overseer, does the Honkai persona really exist? I always thought it was just hypothetical. Before this century, it was indeed just hypothetical. But during the second eruption in the year 2000, I made contact with a consciousness so enormous, it defied common sense. This consciousness can confuse humans by bombarding them with excessive amounts of information. It could take the entirety of human knowledge and force it into your brain in an instant.
事。
Unless they took preventative measures, humans cannot communicate with it as equals.
等等，
Then,
如果这
hold
真的是
on,
梦
if
幻
this
意
is
识，
really the Honkai persona, that means it's basically invincible.
如果他真的无所不能，
Yes, if it
消灭
really
文
had
明
that
当
kind
成
of
一个反
power,
常的事情。
it could
每到
extinguish
这样的人类
civilization
时代，
whenever
都
it
会有重新
wanted.
崛起。
Trying to revive humanity would be pointless.
这意味着，他要么
So
并非
either
真的
its
对文明
hatred
真
of humanity is not
要
so
么并非
deep,
像乍一看的那
or
样。
it's not so invincible as it
话题
seems.
扯远了。
But I
无论
digress.
如何，
No matter what, humanity must use everything at its disposal to have a chance at victory in this uneven struggle.
获得最
So
后
I
的
think
胜利。
the Honkai persona they're talking about is basically the Honkai god. At least. So they're, right now he's referring to events from the second Impact comic, where basically Otto Met God was given a revelation and has spent all this time trying to decode that revelation. So I guess he's talking about that.
而我们今天要进行的实验，就是一个难得的机会。
And the experiment we will undertake today is a rare opportunity.
从彼此之间
Absolutely.
的关系
Now,
上
in
讲，
describing the relationship between the two worlds, we can call our own world base
崩坏
reality.
意识就操纵着本
The
质世界
Honkai
与世
persona
之上的
controls the
连接，
link between
影
base
响着崩坏
reality
的
and
自
the
然循
imaginary
环，
tree,
让人类
affecting the
承受
natural
着或许
cycle
不
of
敢承
Honkai
受的深
energy.
重苦难。
Humanity is
所以接下
suffering
来的
as
实
a
验，
result.
用最
So
乐
for
观
the
的语言
upcoming
来说，
experiment, if
甚至可
everything
能有
goes
机会
well,
让
we
我们
might be able to
甩开
rid
重头戏，
ourselves of our
直
shackles
接
and
与
establish
世
our
术
own
结
connection with
果
the
真如此，
imaginary tree.
但人
If
类在这场
successful,
已崩坏的
humanity
事情
can
教
turn
育
the
中，
tide against
就可以
Honkai without a fight.
这只是最乐
We
观的情
said
况
if。everything
没
goes
错，
well.
从科学研究
That's
的角度
true,
上来
cutting
说，
edge experiments
开
are
创性的实
rarely
验本身就
successful,
很
and the
难以计
future
算。
is
但
even
只要我
more
们能从这样的冒
unpredictable.
险中取得某些
But
积
if we
极的
get
结
any
果，
positive results
我
from
想
this
至少下
adventure,
次
at
面对
least
凯
you'll
文
be able
的
to
时候，
face Kevin with confidence.
世
Are
界
you
上的
talking
终
about
极
the
目标
ultimate purpose of World Serpent Project
当然，
Stigma?
圣痕计划
Of
的可怕
course,
之
the
处
frightening thing about
就在于
Project
它的
Stigma
确
is
可
that
以
it can
重新与
redefine
世
the
界运
rules
作。
by which the
如果
world
对方有能力
operates.
创造一个他们的理
If the
想
other
国，
side can create
而
their
我们却不
utopia and we cannot, then
那么
sooner
世
or
界迟
later
早
the
就会变
world
成
will
他们所
become
期
as
待的
we
样子。既然我们
envisioned.
谁都不喜欢那种由前文
Since
为
none
天
of
降
us
的冷
wants the
酷未
grim
来，
future imposed by the previous era, we must find a way to create
可
our
以创造
own
理想国的
utopia.
方法。
You forgot there was an NPC named Kevin?
也就是
Okay.
说，
Yeah.
如果我体内的世
He's
界
kind
号
of the
在今天的实验中
other
可以安全的炼入叙述之中，
boss enemy. That is to say, if I have a bubble universe within me, and in today's experiment we can safely link it to the imaginary
我
tree,
们才可能有资
then
本
in the
去
future
拒
we'll
绝
have
审
the
核计划。
resources needed to refuse Project Stigma.
你应该知道，在对抗崩坏
As
的
you
种
know,
种蛇
among
性
all
的
the
东西，
schemes for
只在我
opposing
们自己的手
Honkai,
头上。
there are none that are guaranteed to
奥托
succeed.
先生，今天不应该是幽
Hey,
兰戴尔
Mr.
小姐
Otto.
光荣完成一项使
Isn't
命的
today the
日子
day
吗？
that Duranda will gloriously
我把
complete
话
her
题
mission? What's with the
适可而
negativity?
止啦，适可而
You
止
should。learn how to quit while you're ahead.
那些的确是事实，
But what he's saying is
并没有什么
true,
好避讳的。
and the truth
可是
shouldn't be
时间毕
avoided.
竟还没有到必
But we
须
are
做出
not
选
yet
择
at
的
the
那一
point
刻
where we have to make a choice.
没有必要在今天就。
Today, there's no need for you to.
谢谢你关心我，
Thanks
长波。
for your concern, Nagimitsu.
交给 S 级女武神的任务，
Failure is not an option in missions given to S-rank Valkyries. And I'm used to living dangerously.
很好，很有精神。
Good, that's
不
the
愧是我
spirit.
们天命最强的女武神
Duranda, rightfully known as the most powerful
你的赤子
Valkyrie
之
in
心
Shixel,
果
your
然一
devotion
点
to
都
the
没有
cause
出
has
息。
wavered
肉
one
麻的
bit.
话请适可而止。
Overseer, please
你
stop
今
with
天的
that
情绪实在是
flattery. It seems you're a bit overexcited
再
today.
让我这个生性轻浮洒
I
光，
could go on and
就由你
on.
来讲解接下来的具
Nagimatsu,
体实
please
验
explain
步
in
骤和
detail
技
the
术细
steps
节。
involved in the
你们的
experiment.
主教
Your overseer will keep his mouth shut now. Wow. This is okay. So this is actually like a lot more heavy. This is like deep Honkai lore. I wasn't quite expecting this. Oh wait, hang on. I didn't quite catch the missile. I guess it just shoots missiles whenever we call him. Yeah, in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have tried to stream this because I don't think people are going to understand it. Well, even if they do, nobody's. You definitely cannot appreciate this story without having played through the rest of the game, I think. So, maybe streaming this was a mistake. Two contrasting figures made their way through the ruins of the theater side by side. One carried themselves in a carefree manner, while the other had an air of earnest determination. One had seen 500 years of change, the other had only had 10 years of memories. The two had little in common, but at the moment they were the iconic figures of the Schicksal organization. Before, Otto had made use of an advisory council to deal with trivial day-to-day issues while he used the time to carry out various kinds of secret research. But when the North American branch broke off to form the independent anti-entropy organization, which would become a rival of Schicksal, Otto simply kicked out the advisory council and used a more efficient way of maintaining stability. And it was then that the Schicksal Valkyries, once a secret weapon, took center stage. From Squad Snowwolf to the Immortal Blades, one outstanding figure after another joined Schicksal, encouraging more girls to join the battle. Okay. Well, I guess if we have any time left after this, we can just go to Genshin anyways. I can only accompany you this far. The way forward is only open to those who have undergone fusion with extra dimensions. This is also where Nagamatsu's instructions ended. Do we really not have any intel about what lies ahead? These spaces close to the imaginary tree are completely unexplored. Their current location is still under the influence of the Sea of Quanta. If you go any further, you'll be completely within the realm of the imaginary tree. Also, wait, why do I hate this update again? Tommy, you should know, because they made a certain mode that was already extremely difficult even harder. I'm sorry I cannot provide other useful intel for the grand finale of this experiment. It's okay, there's always uncertainty when doing an experiment. Like the adventure Rita and I had 5 years ago, it yielded results far beyond what anyone had anticipated. In today's experiment, you've done all you can to ensure that the bubble universe inside me will remain intact under all circumstances. So from my point of view, all the unacceptable risks have already been eliminated. Overseer, I'll be back soon. Have a good journey. Without any hesitation, the girl stepped into the wormhole linking the different dimensions. Behind her, the Overseer's expression looked simultaneously gratified and melancholy. Over the past 10 years, you've made this extraordinary journey possible. Bianca Atagina? Nakimatsu. What is it, Mr. Otto? If we could use a genius device to receive the data collected by Dura Randall, our experiment will be a success. As for whether she can restore the link between the bubble universe and the imaginary tree with her own power, well, you understand, that isn't critical for our plans. I need to be able to fold, cut, and reconstruct the power of base reality. The fate of the bubble universe has little effect on that. So you're saying if Durando spends too long with the imaginary tree, we'll just initiate a forced recall of the genius device? Of course, we don't have any way of communicating with her in real time. She understands that we can't wait for her indefinitely. There's no need to be pessimistic. After all, didn't you give her some help? I've been found out, but I was just testing the waters. How should I know whether it will really work? It will work. You should know that the other side is also made up of excellent Valkyries who were once under my command. Oh?
助教说，
Uh,
这里是宇宙的
is
起
it
源之
something?
地，
Can I
也是
attack?
法则的交汇之处。
This is the origin of the universe where all laws intervene in time and something very different here.
事物在这里的运转，不能用力学来计算。这里是世界的比方，规则之上的规则。但无论
Okay.
如何，我必须坚持前进。
Okay, even though physics doesn't work here, game mechanics seems to work just fine.
致击，贯穿星辰。
Seem to be able to punch and kick everything without too much issue. Gameplay and story segregation, I guess. Guess so. So yeah, with this, as I was saying, with this battle suit, basically all you do is ult. And if you don't have ult, if you don't have enough SP for your ult, then you just basic attack until you have
汇聚于此。
SP for your ult, and then you ult. And since you're invulnerable while ulting, there is very little actual gameplay to this. So like, there's very little do other than just spam ult. Who needs physics? Functioning ones, at least. Yeah, physics tends to help with gameplay. In the seemingly boundless empty space, the girl had to rely on her genius device to find the way. 4,268 steps. Blah. You feel like there's a character in another game who works like that, but you can't remember who. The girl felt that as soon as she stopped counting, time gradually began to lose all meaning in this place. Durando had probably walked the distance of a marathon, yet she did not feel any fatigue. There was still nothing but emptiness in every direction. She began to feel anxiety creeping up on her. She was worried about the reliability of the plan and wondered if the space-time asymmetry would cause everything to lose its meaning. The girl took breaths, regulating her heartbeat and expelling all unwanted thoughts from her consciousness. Although what surrounded the girl could be more accurately described as the ether rather than air, she didn't need to breathe to stay alive. I hear corrupted Japanese. She heard a faint, indistinct sound coming from far away, in the same direction that genius was leading her. Well, to be precise, the space had no medium through which sound could pass, so the noise must have manifested itself directly in her brain. She could not make out what was being said, but at the end she was sure she heard something calling her name. Whatever it was, it recognized her.
真的出现了。
You really came. Not long before, the girl and her companion had arrived at the designated location, perplexed as to why they had been led there. The location data had been transmitted through the ether via a mysterious signal. The message was clear. Bianca Atagina would appear here carrying the bubble universe. Who made this prediction? What was their purpose? The girl and her companion had no idea. It was clearly not Bianca or Rita's prediction. The message even stated that it would be a surprise for the Valkyries. Was it transmitted by the Shixel Overseer? No, Otto would never use this kind of method. He liked to be in control of the situation. Then could it have been sent by the residents of the Bubble Universe? This was even more unlikely. They had naturally lost connection with the imaginary tree, and thus didn't have the capability to send messages to this place. The visitors from base reality were getting closer. There was the characteristic radiation of a living organism here, and only one possibility for what was emitting it. Hey, old partner. Bianca, can you hear me, Bianca? It's me, Sugar Akira. Both Sugar Akira and Niggurath are here. She couldn't help but laugh. Her partner had good intuition, but she didn't need any warnings from her. Just as the 7 colors combined form both black paint and white light, all possibilities manifesting simultaneously can form the void of empty space. But when potential and manifest beings interact, the original void will transform into something else.
欢迎来到我等休格斯一族的精神世界——糖果屋。
Yes, Tommy. As you can see, super Lovecraftian. Welcome to the spiritual realm of the sugars, the candy house. In our language, you can call us brown sugar and crystal sugar.
熟人见面一般可不是这么打招呼的吧？
Hey, Niggurath. I agree, old friends.
真的好久
Hi,
不见了
Bianca. It's so
有
good
没有
to
被
see
我们
you
的出现
again.
吓了一跳？
Did our presence here start? I have no idea who this is. I know she's a stigma set. She's like a free-to-play, 3-star stigma set.
真的没想到能够在这里再次见
I
到你。
wasn't really expecting to run into you here, Shigeru Akira. And you, Miss Niggurath. Sorry, I don't understand how extraterrestrial beings typically develop.
我可不是今年才长成这个
Hey,
样
it
子
was
的。
only this year that I grew into this form. It's all Kira's fault, thinking that my dormant state was my final form.
可能我是没怎么
Hey,
见过
I'm
宇宙
still
级别的
stronger than your species, whose natural instinct is to play dead.
二位的感情看起来真
Looks
好
like。you two get along great.
姑且算是吧。
Sigh, we
毕
get
竟
along
被这家伙
okay.
骗来骗去的孽缘，也
Our
真的是
relationship
源
has
远
its
流
ups
长
and
啊。
downs, but we go
过
way
去的
back.
事情总有过去的原因
Past
啊。
events always have past
言归
causes.
正传，用休格
Anyways,
斯的事
I'm
件来
getting
说
off topic.
我们在2周之
2
前
weeks
收到
ago,
了
we
一封预
received
告
a
信，
message that
信里
contained a
明确预言
prediction.
了
The message said that you would arrive here at this moment.
有人告诉我们，你对
Someone
休
was
格斯
telling
事
us
件
that
的
you
今
would
天
come
会来
here
到这里，
today and
尝
attempt
试
to
把
link
世
the
界
bubble
炮接回
universe
西
to
数
the
场。
imaginary
是
tree.
的，
Yes, as part of Overseer's experiment. Did you come here just to wait for us?
那当然啦，你
Of
要知道，
course, we've
我们可
learned
正
how to
好
make
掌握
use
着
of the
利用施术
imaginary
之术，
tree. To
在
a
一
certain
定程
extent,
度
we
上
can
变换
transform
自己
the
存在过
dimension in
吗？
which we exist.
这么说来，
What do you mean
这
by
个呀，
we?
他在2年前
Oh,
通过
2
了
years
金
ago,
堂
she
长老的
passed
考
Competo's
核，正式
exam
加入
and
我们
officially
休格家
joined
内
the
的世界炮
Sugars.
被繁衍进入你身体
When
内
that
部之
bubble
后，
universe
决
entered
定
your
了模
body,
式回
Dr.
归量子之
Schrodinger
好，
returned to
而
the
企
Sea
罗
of
却被
Quanta
能量
and
波
Kira
动
was
排
launched
入了
into a
虚数之术
dimension
的直属空间。
within the imaginary tree by an energy fluctuation.
或许是他天生运气好，又或
Maybe it
许
was
是
good
冥冥
luck,
当
or
中的某
maybe it
种
was
速得之，
predestined.
在被这种无虚
Before
空
our
间撕裂
souls
成
were
灵魂
torn
碎片
into
之前，
fragments by the
恰好
void,
路
we
过的糖
passed
果
by
屋
the
救
candy
济了我们。
house.
糖
Let's
果
say
屋不仅
this.
是休格斯一族
The
的精
candy
神
house
家
is
园，
not only the
它
home
也
of the
是你触流
sugars,
世
but
界炮
also
改
a
变而成的
sanctuary
空间
made out of the
每
bubble
当休格
universe.
斯遭遇危机的时候，
Whenever the
他们就
sugars
会和
face a
虚数之
crisis,
术
they
重新建立一
reestablish
个
a
连
link
接，
with the imaginary
变换自己
tree
当
and
潜
switch
力
to a
粉，因
different
为糖果屋
dimension.
作为世界炮来说很小，
Because the candy
所以
house
它可
is
以
such
做
a
到
small
随时
bubble
在虚数
universe,
之
when
树
we
上扎
alter
起
the
连
link
接，
to the
无所
imaginary
崩坏
tree,
波动
we
的
do
潜
not
在天壤。
suffer the effects of Honkai fluctuations. You know, I guess the plus side of this story quest is that right now I have no more idea what is going on than you guys do.
竟然有这样的实力啊！
So I guess we're on even footing right now. So such a thing has been done before.
以休格
But
斯的意
Bianca,
见来
the
说，
opinion of the
你的
sugars
体
is
内
that
的
the
这个
bubble
时差的
universe
麻烦
inside
程
you.
度，比起糖果屋来
I'm
说，
afraid its
恐怕
potential
是
to
高出
cause
了好几个
problems
数量
is
级。
many orders of magnitude higher than that of the candy house.
主要是体量的问题，想
It's
不断延
mainly
续
the
一个
problem
世
of
界炮的存在，
scale.
据我们
As
所
far as
知，
we know,
总
there
共
are
有
two
2种
ways
办
to
法：
prolong the
粗
existence
暴
of
的
a bubble
或者是
universe.
最长的。
Through brute force or by
粗暴
using
的
a
办
working
法是
lab.
不断从外界吸收能
The
量，
brute force
以
method
此对
involves
抗量子之
continuing
海的自然
pulling
衰
in
变。
energy from the outside to counter the natural decay
对
of
这
the
种
sea
方
of
法而
quanta.
言，世界炮越大
By
越好。
using this
正
method,
所
the
谓
bigger the
两
bubble
面积占
universe,
比，
the
随着
better.
体积的增加
The
会不断
ratio
减
of
小。
surface area to volume decreases with size.
只要规模足够大，它
At
甚
a
至通
large
过
enough
自然接
scale,
触
a
就可
universe
以
will
保持能
naturally
量的动
achieve
态
an
平衡，
energy balance.
可以
It
几
will
乎
float
永远
around
的
in
在
the
量
sea
子
of
之海
quanta
中。
almost
当然了，
indefinitely.
如果反过来吸收了
Of
太多
course,
的
if the
崩
bubble
溃能，
universe
那
absorbs
也
too
会给
much
世界炮本
Honkai
身带来
energy
其他
using
的
this
问题，
method,
就
it
像
will cause
你和
other
企罗过去
problems,
见识过的那样。
like what you and
那是
Kira
明白
have seen in the past.
那么
I think I get it.
休格斯的方法
So I'm guessing the sugars use the other
没
method,
错
the
和
workaround.
虚数之术建立动态
That's
连
right.
接，
Once the
借用
dynamic
虚
link
数
has
之
been
术的支
established
持
with
来
the
阻止衰
imaginary
变。
tree, we use the tree's support to stop the
这
decay
种办法的本
process.
质是欺骗虚数之
This
术，
method works by deceiving the imaginary tree, we attach the target to another universe and hope it'll be accepted as a newborn universe that
打个通
needs
俗的比方
support.
来说，这就
It's
像
like
是在绞
grafting
尽
a
针
branch
脚，
onto a
针线
tree.
越大越复杂，
The bigger
嫁
the
接的
branch,
手
the more
艺就越困
difficult
难。
it is to
因此，
successfully
对于这
attach.
种方法而言，
Therefore,
世界
when
炮
using this
反而是越
method,
想越
smaller
好。
the bubble
也
universe, the
就是
better.
说，这
So
两
it
种
sounds
维
like
持
two
世界炮
methods
存
are
在的方
basically
法。
opposites.
而且，
Yeah,
根
and
据
as
当
Dr.
时石田
Schrodinger
身
would
体里的
say,
这个世界炮，
the
原
bubble
本是按照
universe
不
in your
放
body
箭
was
设计出来，
originally
去配
destined
合月光
using
王座的原型
designed
系
using
统，
the
用
brute
来消
force
除多余
method,
崩坏能的。
together with the Saloon's prototype system that eliminates
只可
excess
惜，
Honkai
随着一
energy.
派锚点被崩坏能侵
Unfortunately,
蚀，
because
它
Honkai
反而
energy
需要
would
锚点
corrode
在
the
你
ether
身体
anchor,
内，
it
才能
needed
防
to
止
be
自身
anchored
四分
within
五
your
裂。
body to prevent it from
正所谓
disintegrating.
船大难掉头。
Now we want to
现
change
在
course
我
and
们想
switch
让
to
它
the
180
workaround
度转
method.
身，去适
You
应
just
渔
need
场
to
路
do a
线，
large
就
amount
需
of
要在技术细
calculation
节上，这是
to
指
work around the details.
幽兰戴尔，
This means
你的那把具有
Durandal,
自主智能的
that
剑，
blade of yours that is
世界确实
autonomous.
一直在空间的夹
The
缝
holy
中
blade
维
has
持着世界炮
maintained
的
the
稳定，
stability of the butterfly
以及我与
universe,
世界炮之间的
bubble
繁衍
universe,
毛
as
的
well
关
as
系。
its connection to me.
自从那次
It's
分
just
别
that
之
ever
后，
since we were separated,
我和
I've
他
never
之间
been able to
至今
establish
也没有
any
办法
form
实
of
现任何让我
communication
能
with
感
it.
受到他在世界的另一头拼
Guys,
命
yes,
工作
good
着。
news and some bad news.
但除此之外，我
Okay.
什么都传达不了。
I can sense it is working strenuously somewhere on the other side of the world. But besides that, I can't tell you much about it.
这样啊，
Bad news, your Roblox got hacked? Oh no. I'm so sorry to hear that.
果然只有使用那
Then
个
I
方
guess
法
we only have one option.
借助沙
Even
滩
using
饮
the
料的力
power
量，
of the
还有什
sugar
么方
key?
法有可能实现跨越
Otherwise,
繁
how
衍
can
锚
we
点重
establish
生呢？
communications across the
虽然有
inversion
点对不起
anchor?
长老，
Although I do feel sorry for Conpeto, we must do whatever is
那可是
necessary.
他老人家花了
He
10多
spent
年的时
decades of his
间
life
才勉
getting
强
to
学
that
好的
thing
东西啊。
fixed. We
我
better
们
be
还是尽
careful
量
when
小
we
心一
use
点
it.
来使用。
那个，你们在说的是什么？
I'm very sorry to hear that, Troyes. Is there any hope of getting our account back?
哦，砂糖饮料是休格斯一族
Ah,
传
the
承至
sugar
今的
key is
上
an
古遗
ancient
物，
relic passed
过
around
去
the
曾用来制造糖
passed
果
down
屋本
amongst the
身。
sugars. It was once used to make the
据金
candy
皮
house
堂长老
itself.
说，多年前有某个
Conpeto
人
said
类
that years
以
ago
天
a
位的
certain
神之
human
剑
gave
为
it the
名，
name
将它
Silurus.
称为外之剑。
Shrixel's divine keys. He called it the key of the
那
beyond.
家伙和最终背叛我们，
Ah, that was the guy that
差
betrayed
一个
us
很
and
坏的
damaged the
人类有这
key.
种败类，
Is that kind of
害得几
human
楼需要
scum that
足
made
足
it
3年的
necessary
观
for
察
Kira
期
to go
才
through a
能真正
3-year
加入休格斯
observation
大家
period
族。
before she could
人
join
类
the
比起来有
sugars?
时候会复杂过头呢。
Humans can indeed be
我也
very
经常搞不
complicated.
懂别
I
人
often
心里
struggle
在
to
想些什
understand
么
what，other
真
people
要
are
去求丽塔
thinking.
帮忙吧，往往也只是
I
得到
really
一
want
个
to get Rita's help,
便
but
在一
usually
个
she just gives
但
an
是
answer like, don't worry about it, it'll be fine.
你这点对于休格斯来说，反而是会赢得信任的加
Actually,
分
this
项
makes you
哦。
more trustworthy in the eyes of the sugars. I'm going to begin
和
preparations for
几
using
罗
the
可以
sugar
趁这
key.
段时间再叙
I'll
叙旧。
leave you
辛
two
苦
to
你
catch
了，
up for
尼
a
古拉
while.
斯。
Thank
好
you,
了好
Nigarath.
了，你跟我客气
No
什
need
么
to？be so
回
polite.
头我们还有的是时间
I'm sure in a
吵架。
while we'll be arguing again. So yeah, I don't really know what just
普
happened.
拉斯或许和小优会很合得来呢。
Nigarath will be compatible with Blade Durandal.
我也觉得，
Haha,
说
I
起
think so
来，
too.
比安卡，
Speaking of which,
你真的长
Bianca,
高了不
you've
少
grown a
呢，
lot taller.
人也变得更稳
And
重
it seems
了。
you're also more sure of yourself.
你不如说那是
You
死
could
板
also
吧？
say I've become more stubborn. And Shixo, I don't exactly have the reputation of being easygoing.
我怎么感觉
No way, why do I feel like you're the most laid back? Although when you're on business, I also get the sense that you're very
我也能想象你认识
opinionated. You said it yourself, it's the same when it comes to
同样是
working
和
with
S
S rank
级女武神当同
Valkyries.
事，
If I could choose who to work with, it would be someone like Rita.
你们都已经是 S 级女
Wow,
武神
you're
了。
both S rank
就像当年
Valkyries
的
now?
Cecilia 大人
Just
和
like
丽莎大
Cecilia
人
and
真是
Teresa back then. I wouldn't go that far. And besides,
有什么不好意思的
what
事
is
情
it?
吗？
Something embarrassing?
其实也没
Ah,
什么，是
it's
这样的。
nothing actually.
差不多
About
3
3
年
years
前，
ago, the overseer granted me the right to use the abyss flower.
是
Why? You mean Cecilia's abyss flower?
不
You
愧是我
deserve
的
it,
比安卡。
Bianca.
谢谢。
Great job.
不过对我来说，
Thanks, but I just feel like I'm borrowing it from
按
Cecilia.
照常理来说，
Even though a divine key is a divine key, and it's not something just anyone can wield.
这
I've
柄武
always
器
felt
上
that the weapon was
有着
still
子弟恋
connected to
情
the
的事实。
Cecilia somehow.
这也很正常啊。毕
So,
竟在他之前，
the Cecilia they're referring to is Kiana's mother, and I guess I'm not sure what her relationship to Teresa would be, but yeah, she's Kiana's, aka the main character's mother, who died during the second Honkai War. And Durandal wields the weapon she passed down.
不过你知道吗？即使对
But
Cecilia
you
大
know
人
what?
而
Even
言，
for
成
Cecilia,
为黑白
becoming
花的
the
主
owner of
人，
the Abyss
也是
Charlotte
件很有心理压
put
力。
her under a lot of pressure. Why? Wasn't she highly compatible with it?
要单纯说适应性，
Well, purely in terms of adaptability, I think you might be better than Cecilia. I've been corrupted by it before, so I know what I'm talking about.
Cecilia 大人
Listen, Bianca, the problems Master Cecilia faced at the beginning were identical to yours, but just the opposite.
又刚好相同。
Identical, but just the opposite? What does
身为
that
主教
mean?
大人，也许
I
没和
guess
你
the
特别提过
overseer
吧。
never mentioned
在
it to
塞西
you.
利亚大人之前，
Before Cecilia, several owners of the Abyss Flower were all expelled from Shixo for various
你
reasons.
也许知道，
Then, maybe you're aware that the Abyss Flower was pulled out of the North Atlantic in the 1970s.
薛定谔博士的
This
过
event
去
was directly
有
related
直
to
接的
Dr.
联系和他
Schrodinger's
背叛天
past.
的经历吗？
Are you talking about her betrayal of Shixo? Rita told me about
当
that.
年他说奥托主
That
教
year, when she
是
said
不共戴天
Overseer
的
Otto
仇
was
人
our
的时候，
mortal enemy, I think
那么你知
everyone
道
believed it.
当时的天命
Did
最
you
强
know
女
that
武
the
神
strongest
黑
Valkyrie
渊
at the
白花的
time,
持
the
有者
wielder of the Abyss Flower,
他加入
joined
了逆商阵营，
anti-entropy?
并因此黑渊
And
白
then
花
it
就
led
是
to
在
her
那时
death?
沉入了大
That
洋
was
深
when the
处。
Abyss Flower sank into the ocean.
那个人的名
Dot,
字
dot, dot. You've heard that the Valkyrie's name before.
她叫蕾安娜，
She was called Rihanna. I have never heard this name before.
就是薛定谔博士的
Used to
中
be.
间名，他的救命恩
That's
人的名
right, the
字。
same as Dr. Schrodinger's middle name. She took the name of the one who saved her. Dr. Schrodinger is a cat person. She is not. She is another
世界就是这
stigma.
么小啊，比安卡。
So we know what I know what she looks like.
神对这些情
She's
报一
never
无所
appeared
知，
in the game.
在当年成为黑渊
But
白
she's
花的
like a
主人，也绝不
piece
是
of
一件轻
equipment.
松的事。
It's a small world, Bianca. Although ordinary Valkyries know nothing about this in these days, becoming the Abyss, one of the Abyss Flower wasn't something to be taken lightly.
现在也还有迷
To
信
tell
的
the
人
truth, some of the more superstitious Valkyries consider
但
it
是事后
unlucky
来
to this
看，
day.
大家也都觉得
But
黑
in
渊白
hindsight,
花
everyone thought
是
the
塞
Abyss
西利亚大
Flower
人的
was a
象征，是
symbol
因
of
为
Master
塞西利亚
Cecilia,
象征着
right?
的魅力。
Just because Cecilia was so
不是这样的，
charismatic.
比安卡。
No, it
尽
wasn't
管
that,
我最喜欢
Bianca.
塞西利亚大人的头号
Even
粉
though I
丝，
consider myself a
但就事
huge
论
fan of
事，
Cecilia,
这只是因为塞西利亚大人
objectively,
是
the
有黑
Abyss
渊
Flower
白
was
花
only
很
her
长时间
symbol
罢了。
because she owned
塞
it for
西利
such a
亚大人
long
和我
time.
说过，他也
Cecilia
感到
told
自
me
己
that
和黑渊白花
she
之
always
间
felt a
有
kind
一
of
种挥之
distance
不去的
between
距
her
离
and
感。
the Abyss Flower.
那并不是
And
因
it
为那
wasn't
是一
just
种
because of
纯
its
粹的
reputation.
对于历史的敬畏之
Actually,
心，
she felt that way because she
就像凯
reviewed
斯
its
拉大人的
history,
人看待天火
like
圣
the
坛的态度
attitude
一
the
样。
Kazlanas have towards judgment of Shamash.
从心态的角度来
So
说，
although you are coming
尽
from
管
a
出发
very
点完全
different
不
starting
同，
point, your
但你们
attitude
真
towards
正
it
的
is
心
not
却
so
原来
different
如
from
此。
hers. I see. That's really interesting.
果然就像我的姐
Kira,
姐一
you're
样
like
啊。
an older sister to me.
刚才的那些
Huh?
话题，
We just
我
talked
和
about.
丽塔聊，
I wouldn't find it
我会觉得不
interesting
好
to
意思，
discuss with Rita,
和主
and I
教
wouldn't
聊，
want to bring
或
it up with
许
the overseer.
那真的是只
I
有
feel
小
like
姐
it's
妹。
something I can only discuss with you.
被你这么一说，
You're
我还真
stop
的
it. You're making me blush.
说起来啊，
Off.
我们聊了这么久，
Now that you mention it, we've been chatting for quite a
我的
while.
准备
Yes,
工
you
作应
have.
该也差不多了
You've
吧？
been making me read a lot. Nigarath, are your preparations almost
抱
complete?
歉二位，
Sorry, guys. It seems that I've slightly messed things
或
up.
者说程
Or
序
maybe
化，
just a bug in the program. A bug?
具体的说法不重要了。
The details aren't important, but basically, we've attracted some so-called imaginary constructs to the outside of the candy house.
万一糖果屋本身
I
要是
need
遭
some
到
help
入侵，
dealing with
就
this,
麻烦了。
Bianca. If they are able to infiltrate the candy house, it'll be a
只要
problem.
把敌人全部消灭就
Got
可
it.
以了
So I
吧？
just need
我
to
喜欢这
eliminate
种简
all
单
the
直接
enemies.
就能解决问题的
I
方
like
式。
this kind of straightforward approach to problems.
全力战斗吧，比安卡！
Okay,
我们会把所有
that
的
was
力
a
量都尽
very long lead-in to a what looks to be a fairly simple boss fight. Or this isn't even a boss fight, just like a fight.
心毛诛心。
That was the longest lead-in into a combat section I have ever seen in this game. I had no idea that this chapter is turning out to be a more visual novel than it's like 80% visual novel and like 20% action RPG now. Really? That was it? All that for just a short fight? Oof. Looks like there's one stage left. Oh wait, no, that was it? Oh wait, no, there is one more stage. Yeah, okay. Experiment and the mission. Okay.
又有用。
Bring these. Actually, Yeah, Let's bring her instead. Line after line of alien text rolled across the screen of Niggurath's control console. That is totally just English. Right there. It looked like she was reading some rather complicated programs. Thank you, that was a tough battle. But I'm afraid you'll have to wait a bit longer due to concerns about the stability of our communications channel. We've chosen to deal with some issues first, before re-establishing communications. Are you talking about Blade Durando? Have you already made contact? Yes, the AI. It's currently receiving a temporary link to the bubble universe broadcast by the sugar key, so it can't switch to a human form. Understood. I'll just use this time to get in the right frame of mind. Prepare myself psychologically. Anyways, I'm really grateful to have this opportunity today. Hey, why are you being so modest? A friend of Kira's is a friend of mine. Oh, wait a second. Excellent. Well, that worked perfectly. What happened? Success. It has received and implemented the connection protocol. There's no time to lose. Let's try to communicate. Hold on. Testing. Bianca, do you read me? If you do, please reply. Loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear, Holy Blade Durando. It's been years. You were a girl back then. Now you're a young woman. Wonderful. What are your measurements now? Looks like you have some nice proportions. Hey, as soon as we re-establish communication, you say that kind of crap? Kira is still here. Oh, okay. So the AI is like a perv. Sounds like Rita isn't there then. Yeah, but don't worry, she's done well these past few years. It's just that she isn't physically suited to getting close to imaginary trees, so she's not with me today. Actually, just the fact that you were able to reach this dimension with their help is impressive. But how do I put this? I'm pretty impressive myself. I finished all my important work, so I have time to chat with you. Huh? You're done with your work? I thought we were just about to start the critical phase. That's the power of a computer processor. I can do things at a speed you can't even imagine. But since this thing can't be done perfectly, I'm afraid after today I won't get much of a chance to come out and get fresh air, so I might lend out part of me. Huh? What do you mean lend out part of you? Are you talking about the gems you're made of? My fault. Sometimes my brain runs faster than my mouth. Well, in machine form, I guess I don't really have a mouth. Oh, sounds like a problem a certain someone I know has a lot, doesn't it, Tommy? Enough of the jokes. We likely have limited time to interact like this. You'd better let me analyze the whole situation again. After operating for several years, I gradually became aware that the crisis in that bubble universe originated from when it was born. 5,000 years ago, to ward off the Honkai threat, humans were trying to discharge Honkai energy into a bubble universe in the Sea of Quantum, but as the Herrscher destroyed their research center on the new continent, they were unable to implement their plan. Luckily, the ether anchor on the artificial bubble universe wasn't damaged. Humans then tried to turn the place they had been using as a garbage dump into a refuge that can be inhabited by humans. That's the way we see it today. While the project of turning the bubble universe into a sanctuary was somewhat successful, the equipment from when it was a garbage dump had to be left in place. In the hands of a madman, this hidden equipment created a devastating tragedy. Since then, the history of that world has been nothing more than a desperate struggle to survive. Bianca, when you went on your expedition to that world, you not only sealed the fate of that madman, but also took responsibility for saving that world from collapse. Just as Niggurath's analysis predicted, the dimensions of the bubble universe hindered its reattachment to the imaginary tree. Its inversion baseline still has to be anchored on a stable negentropy system. But simply, there's no way to complete the mission at its time. That's okay, I prepared myself for this. Everything will be just like it was, right? I'm afraid not. Eh? Although my responsibility haven't changed, now you can share the burden that you once carried alone, Bianca. Do you mean, come, I'll give you temporary access to the sugar key so you can experience it for yourself? The girl nodded her head. Countless streams of data suddenly began pouring into her mind. For an instant, she understood what the overseer meant when he said a consciousness so enormous that it defied common sense. But unlike what the Overseer had said about the Honkai persona, this consciousness seemed to fill her mind with warmth and nostalgia, like a birthday candle Rita lit for her on New Year's Eve. Wow, your Japanese voice sounds much older. Calm yourself, resting place of the universe. I am space-time itself, the source of the power that destroys all. My role is to obliterate all universes. The girl felt a familiar power flowing through her body. 5 years earlier, she had used this power to cut through layered space, cutting a manifold that supported an entire continent free from the bubble universe. In those 5 years, this power had been lying dormant, not in base reality, but in a strange dimension within her body. In terms of fighting capability, the girl who already possessed the Abyss Flower didn't need assistance from the Holy Blade. As the name she now went by demonstrated, the Holy Blade Durando had become a symbol of her life as a Valkyrie. Now, after extracting my core, you can transfer the duty of protecting this world to any of your reliable colleagues. This way, more people can share the burden, right? Well, strictly speaking, only one person at a time can assume the responsibility, and now you can take turns. By studying technologies that mimic the sugar key, I can now serve as an intermediary and establish an indirect link between the bubble universe and the imaginary tree. Although there is currently no way to realize your ultimate goal of an independent bubble universe, we don't need to rely on your body to protect that world anymore. Also, I've calibrated Sumeru for you. That way, after you give my core to someone else, you will still be able to use the power of the astral harvest for a short time. You usually don't, Tommy. This is not normal. This is like, I feel like because they established so much lore outside of the game, and now they just do all this exposition to explain to players of the game who didn't read the extra material what's happening. Also, there's been a lot of connections between Genshin and Honkai recently, so I'm suspecting here that Sumeru, whatever Sumeru is here, the name might be more than just a coincidence with Sumeru in Genshin. That means the astral harness didn't just disappear. That's right, ultimately, the astral harness relies not on any particular bubble universe, but on the power of the Sea of Quanta itself. Aside from these high-tech devices, where did that thing called Sumeru come from? I want to find another one I can use myself. In the database, do you have a record named Su from the previous era? He was the one who entrusted Sumeru to me. He said he once spent several thousand years implementing something called Project Valuka. The development of parallel universes was observed in hopes of finding a way to counter Honkai. I see, although I don't have information about that, if a person like that was willing to transfer Sumeru to you, he must have found the answer he was looking for, right? It seems so. He said in the end, Project Valuka finally found the only answer, but he wouldn't tell me any details. I gave the information he left behind to the Overseer, but he wouldn't tell me anything either. Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's good to talk about on stream, but during the recent Honkai trailer, there was a mention of something that is causing people to speculate now that the travelers actually originated from the Honkai universe. Specifically, I guess the current speculation is that they were part of a project to escape the destruction of the previous civilization 50,000 years ago, and that might be connected to the Sumeru thing. Huh? Have you guessed what it is, Durando? No, I have no idea. It's the fact that I don't know that makes it so interesting. Isn't it all this way for also this
那也
way
只
for
能说
humans.
你对人类的理解
I can
有一些
always-
奇怪的偏差了。
Oh, hello, Michael Hill. Welcome aboard. I can only say that this stream has ended up being a lot more reading than I expected, so I apologize in advance. Aha, I'm not an organic life form like you. Some misunderstandings are normal. It's what makes us unique.
发生什么了？
Sigh. What happened? I'm getting a warning. In 5 minutes, the status of the link between the bubble universe and the imaginary tree may become unstable due to a chaos phenomenon. To ensure there are enough resources to respond, in the next 3 minutes, I must go manually control some
这
programs.
次见面，
I guess that means our time together is over. Yes, it's a shame. There's a lot we didn't get to talk about. Who won the Shixel Championship? What about the Anti-Entropy Trophy?
你在意的是这个？
You care about this? You've never seen a soccer game in your life. So look, you talk about things unrelated to Honkai is the greatest joy for me.
我明白了。
I get it. Well,
比安卡
thanks.
小姐不好意思了呢。
Miss Bianca is embarrassed. So cute. Well, I really have to go now. Though in the future, people may have to sacrifice their
但我
lives.
相信，
I believe
那位
that
为何
Pioneer
为
has
先行
found
者
the
的确更会相
only
信世
answer.
界。伙
I
伴，
hope everyone
还有自己的
continues
可
to
能
have faith
性
in the world, their
别让
colleagues,
时间
and
来证明一
themselves.
切吧。
Time will prove them right.
亲爱的各位，
Until we meet again, how about I give my physical form to you for safekeeping?
信号消
The signal disappeared. Yeah,
还会再见
well,
面的。不是吗？
definitely be able to meet
乐
again,
观是好事。
right?
虽说我
It's
隐
good
隐
to
觉
be
得
optimistic.
地球上那些前
Though
文
I
明
have a
的人
feeling
都挺
those
可
people
怕
from
的
the。previous era are kind of scary.
这样说起来，
In the
苏博士
beginning,
一开始
Dr.
也威
Su
胁
also
我，
threatened to lock
要
me
把我
in
这
听
his
起
bubble
来只是虚
universe.
张声势的话术吧
Sounds like that was a
毕
bluff.
竟像他那种人，
That
不
kind of
可能因
person
为
wouldn't
短视
change
的
their
蒙古来
opinion of you
死。
so quickly.
你所谓的隐
Then,
隐觉得，
Niggurath, where do you
究
get the
竟是
feeling
我
that
也
those
说不清。
people are scary?
哎，
I'm not sure.
没办
Huh?
法，只
Just
是
a
一种直
feeling.
觉而已。
I thought it was better to tell
谢
you.
谢。不过，
Thanks.
如果真的遇到某些无法
But when
回
it
避的
comes
命运，
it's time to meet my
至
fate,
少
I
我
will
现
not
在
back down.
已经有办法把自己的责
At
任
least
托付
now
给
I
其
don't
他
have to
人。
shoulder my burden
这么
alone.
说也未免太不吉利了吧？
Hey, maybe it's
可
not
不
so
要在
good
这
to
种
say
事情
that.
上
That's
也和
exactly the
斯
way
蒂亚尼
Cecilia
说，
thought about
我
it.
才不要您的把圣
For
剑呢。
example, I
你
don't
自己
really
好
want
好
that
收
sword
着，
of yours.
不
You
要给
hold
我
on
乱
to
七
it.
八
I
糟的
don't want
念
to
头。
flood of random thoughts coming to my brain.
我并不是这种意思。
I didn't mean it like that.
让你多虑了，前辈。
Sorry, didn't mean to stress you out. I just got a little excited.
在
You
女武
don't
神的
need
道
to
路上，
apologize. Long
你
ago,
早就超
you
越了我和
surpassed
尼古拉
Niggurath
斯。
and I in
我
your
应该
skill
相
as
信
a
你的判断才
Valkyrie.
对。
I trust your judgment.
不管怎么说，
Well,
反正
however
彼
you
此
say
传
it,
达
the
个意思
important
就好
thing
了。
is to
比
get
安
the
卡
message
明白了
across,
你我
right?
的担心，其实我
Bianca
也明白
knows
了比
that
安卡
Kira
此
is
刻的
worried.
困惑。
Kira
至
knows
于互
Bianca
相
can
道歉
behave
防微
herself.
误解，
No
我们
need
修
to
哥
dwell
斯
on
反正是
apologies.
不
The
一样的。
sugars do not advocate such a thing.
说的也是。
Hey,
总
you're
之
right.，
如果有
Just
机
call
会
us
的话，
anytime you need help, Bianca.
就像这次一样。
Okay, and I'll remember not to be so polite next time. Dot 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 dot. Then I
世
guess
界
that's
和
it.
相关的使命，
The Bubble universe has entered a new phase, and we each have
而我们
many
彼
more
此
missions to
也还有
complete.
无数的使命要各自完成。
Oh, good evening, Ida. Welcome aboard.
二位，既然这次的实验可以说已经圆满结束，
Since we can say that this experiment has come to an end, it bothers you immensely that Bianca is spelled with a K because you feel like that was literally done just to be different? Possibly? Mihoyo has not had the best history with
那么我也
localization.
该像上次一样，
Let's just put it that
着手
way.
启动格尼乌斯了。
I guess I'll start up the genius
这么突
device.
然吗？
Leaving so
你们不坐下来
soon, won't
一
you
起
sit
吃点
down
甜
for a
食吗？
while and have some dessert?
比安卡一直都是这样啊。
Bianca is always like
任务
this.
以外，
She rarely
她
gives
从来都
herself
很理
time
解
to
你的
relax.
心情，并不需要
We
用额
don't
外的
need
语气来
formal
表达。
etiquette to understand each
但不
other.
能说，
She's
这就
always
是她
had
一
this
贯的为人
approach
风
to
格
life.
吧。
谢谢您的理解，前辈。
Oh yes, so Ida, how's your day? How your day been? What game is this? This is Honkai Impact. If you know about Genshin Impact, this is Mihoyo's other game. It's not as well known, but it has a lot of connections to Genshin
二位，后会有期。
and more all the time. It's been a long day, but you're glad it's over? Oh, hello, Jean Louis. Welcome aboard. Hope to see you both again.
到时候要记得
Yeah,
请我吃巧克力巴
next
达。
time remember to treat me to a
这
chocolate
还是有点
buffet.
不够吧？不如干
That's
脆
not
一起
enough.
唱卡拉
Let's
OK，
go sing
唱一整夜。
karaoke.
那个，
Then forget it, haha. I'm too self-conscious.
他的信号
Dot
已
dot
经
dot.
完
Her
全从这个
signal
空
has
间消
completely
失了。
disappeared
那
from
个
this
引导在
space.
他独特天赋中的
There's
演算
something
推
that
论，
can be
你
inferred
终
from
究
our
还是不理
calculations that
解。
you didn't bring up.
我可不确
I'm
定
not sure
你们
you
之
will
后
have an
还会再一
opportunity
次
to meet again.
没办法呀，
It wasn't the
根
right
本就没有
moment.
合适。我觉得他在某些
Besides,
方面和
I
Cecilia
think
大
in
人
some
确 实
ways she
有
is
着决定性的
definitely
不同。
different than Cecilia.
他真正的那份
She
力
doesn't
量，
need our
令
help
未
to
来的旅
awaken her
程，
power.
即使遇到再多的艰难险
Although
阻，
the road ahead will
他的
surely
厉
be
害
difficult,
也终
she
究会像
and
过去的
Rita
每
will
次一
do
样，
what we've always
化险为
done.
夷，转危为安，
Find a solution.
一定没有。
It'll be alright. Okay. Well, we are, I guess, done with the first third of the most confusing story chapter. Oh, actually, I guess that was half of it. Yeah, Act 1. I honestly have no idea what happened. Let's see. We have 30 minutes left in the stream. I can probably find something to do in this game, or I could play Genshin. What do you guys think? More Honkai or Genshin?
雷之律者，
Vote now.
我准备好了。
Anything works? Okay. I'll just show off this game a bit. Okay. We'll just do a little few miscellaneous tasks. Either is fine as you're the one playing. Yeah, we'll just do some
面对自己的
normal gameplay to balance out all the exposition. Yeah, that was a truckload of exposition, way more than you usually see in this game.
我会一直战斗到最后一刻。
Let's see here. We want to bring
舰长
her.
谢谢你的信任，舰长。
That'll work. A heckload, even. That's not really a word I tend to use, Tommy, but sure. So right now I'm just doing the,
打没有把握的仗，
these are the quests and like, these are the boss battles for the Armada, which is like the Honkai version of guilds. Interestingly,
我已做出了我的选择。我准
it
备好了。
occurs to me that Honkai does, or not Honkai, Genshin has no equivalent for guilds.
我将坠入黑暗。
I wonder why they don't, never added anything like that. How would guilds in Genshin work? Would you guys be interested in seeing something like that? Well, those of you who play Genshin.
怒吼吧，巨力伽罗！
What the? Oh,
让雷鸣抵挡所
what did you do in this game? Honestly, not much. Like, the main purpose, so like you get, it's basically, you do this sim battle thing twice a week and you get some rewards. And there's also like, like, I legitimately don't know where the Armada button is anymore. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so get some rewards. You have like this. I guess you can. Oh, here's the thing. You can request items from other guild members. So it's like there's actually a way to trade like resources and stuff. You can't do much. You can't do like a lot at a time, but that would actually be a way for people to like give, I guess, like drops from one person to another. There's like this thing, which is like you can donate items to the guild and you get a random chance of getting some rewards. Depends on how much you contribute and also how everyone else contributes. Oh, and this is to accumulate points. You can use to buy some things from the shop, which honestly, other than this thing, they're all pretty worthless. It's not quite communism because it's like communism if the rewards from communism was a lottery system. Oh, I can do blockade. This is like a legitimate thing. Let's see, activated ice turrets. I think this would work better. Okay. Yeah, I legitimately don't bother with either of those other two things. I just do sim battle, like, every now and then, when I remember to. Which honestly isn't that often. I honestly forget Armada existed. I've been in this Armada, actually, well, no. Actually, no, I haven't. I was originally in a different Armada that I was just sitting in since the start of the game. But that Armada then merged with this Armada, and then I've been in this one ever since. But just, like, kind of by pure chance, this Armada actually ends up being one of the top, like, ranking ones on the NA server. There are some ridiculous whales in this Armada. Yeah, so I think at one point what happened is that we raised the cap on Armada size, like they doubled it, or like more than doubled it or something. They increased the maximum number of players you could have in one Armada, and so basically this Armada ain't mine, basically. So yeah, so by pure coincidence, I am effectively one of the oldest members of one of the biggest armadas in this game. If we consider the two merged, or consider the merged armada as one. Like, the only times I used to remember that Armada existed was to do like co-op raids. It is, because this game is not nearly as popular as Genshin, so it's a lot harder to find people for co-op. So having an Armada, like an active Armada with a Discord, where the Discord was very important to be able to grind co-op raids at all. I still. I really wish I could just find like 2 other people who play this game, and that would make it so much, and like just hard grind co-op for a bit, because I have not done co-op for a really long time, and I'm kind of lacking in a lot of the, like, there are certain co-op based bonuses that almost every player who's played this game as long as I have already has, but I just haven't because I never bothered with co-op. So, someday maybe I'll meet 2 other people who play this game. Oh, I forgot this stupid ability. In this mode, and only this mode, for some reason, there's an ability that freezes yourself and deals massive amounts of damage to yourself. I don't know why this exists. I forgot about that because it's been a while since this particular version of this mode has been around. Yeah, this is completely baffling why anyone would want this. Actually, I might run out of time here. Okay, oof. We're gonna have to redo that. Maybe next time I won't use the utterly stupid ability. Yeah, I don't know what the point of that ability is. It's very strange. Okay. I think we're doing better this time. Is the music muffled? No. Yeah. Unfortunately, the audio in this game is really weird. Like, it's so buggy and bizarre. Honestly, I don't know how to. It's not. I don't think there's anything I can really do about it. Yeah, a lot of times you'll enter a stage and there will just be like no audio at all, and the audio will come back when you complete the stage. It's very bizarre. It happens in both the PC and mobile version. Let's see what we do here. Okay. Seems like the same kind of deal. So basically, I guess the goal is to play with this little gimmick regarding the ice turrets. If they hit enough times to activate, and that'll help me do enough damage to actually beat the game. But actually, this particular stage is not timed, so I guess I don't have to worry about that. That's very nice of them. So basically, I think I've said this before, but combat in Honkai kind of resembles Genshin, but the basic idea is you build up SP for your abilities, your ults, and then you have 2 supports and a DPS, and then you have your 2 supports drop their abilities to enhance the damage of your main DPS, and you have your main DPS come in and use their burst and just nuke everything. And that is the basic concept with all builds. It's also what you do in Genshin, of course. But of course, in Genshin, you're allowed to bring a 4th character, and so having 2 DPSs is actually possible, or like having a DPS and a sub-DPS. But unfortunately, in Honkai, you can only bring 3 characters. Oh, there's another floor. Good thing this one wasn't timed. Otherwise, I probably would be out of time already. I feel like they made this mode harder too. I feel like in this update they made several things more difficult than they used to be, completely unnecessarily, because I don't think there was anybody who thought these modes were too easy. And now this is hard. But this just takes up more time than it should, really. Not everything. Several things. More than I would like. They never make anything easier in this game, you know? It's always gotta be... They always up the difficulty. You gotta justify that power creep of theirs. I screwed up. Well, I'm gonna try that again. Like, normally, I would be able to finish this mode in like 10 minutes. We'd be done by now. But, not today. Not with this mode and all its gimmicks. Wait, what? What happened to my, Oh, what? Oh, okay. I'm honestly not sure what's going on right now. It seems like I'm just supposed to kill as many of these guys as possible to prepare for the next phase. Ah, there we go. What the heck? I am bouncing this guy along a lot worse than he usually does. That was not normal. But 10 ice shards and then... Oh, guess we failed the bonus objective. That's okay. I don't care. Okay, same gimmick. I guess I'll just stay with this. Oh. Right. Heimdall. Oh. Huh. That, I didn't know that could happen, but that was very convenient. So the worst thing about Heimdall, this particular boss, is that it goes into like this rage mode when you hit it enough times. It is possible for certain characters to knock it out of its rage mode, but the character I'm using right now is not one of them. But it turns out the stage gimmick was actually able to knock it out of its rage mode, which is very nice. Except I can't trigger that again. So I think, yeah, if I can... Yeah, that worked perfectly. Oh. Oh my god. I have never seen this before. Like, killed him. Like, before the ult landed. So this is like this animation for the ult, and he died before that. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Wow. That was even more effective than I thought it would be. Okay. So we grabbed all the rewards from that. Well, except for the emblem, but no one cares about that. I think... Oh, I think we got one thing here too. Well... That's basically all there is to do in this game for the day. We can try... we can try this. Tommy knows how much pain and suffering this mode has caused for me. We're not going to get very far. There's not enough time, but... Just gonna start a run and see what happens. This pain... This mode is basically... Okay, so now stare myself. Okay, maybe not on stream. Another time. I guess we'll just call it early then. Alright, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. That was Honkai. That was not the stream I was hoping it would be. I am definitely going to consider more carefully before I decide to start playing Honkai story quests on stream in the future, because that was not the experience I was hoping for. But thank you all for tuning in today. Thank you, Tommy, Idea, Hatanashi, and Michael Hill. And Atreus. I will be streaming again on Friday. We will be playing more Red Alert 2. Finish saving the world as the allies. But thank you all for tuning in. And I hope to see you all there. Good night, everyone. Good night.